So planning and configuring role-based administration. So till now we have discussed how you are going to design the complete SCCM infrastructure, right? So it may be a standalone or a multi-site hierarchy. So you know how to make a standalone infrastructure, and you have clearly understand in standalone how many clients it supports, how many primary it will be there, how many secondaries will be there in one primary, and in multi-site hierarchy how many clients you can manage. Okay, why we should use multi-site hierarchy, all that. So the next very important chapter is about role-based administration. So in this you will be learning so how you are going to assign roles for the SCCM administrators. Now as a administrator, if I open the SCCM console, I have all the rights. I can able to do all the changes whatever I want, right? So if I have hired one admin as a application administrator, clear? So as a application administrator, he should have rights only related to application deployment, like creating application, deploying application, and what collection he is managing, which team he is managing, only that collection should be displayed, and for that particular team which all DP is assigned, only that DP should be displayed, not all the distribution points. So these all things you can configure in your role based administration. Clear? So what are the benefits of role based administration? So you can assign specific permissions to perform administrative tasks on collections of specific object. You can audit administrative security action more simply, and you can view only objects that have permission for, right? What all I have told before, same thing. And administrative user includes Active Directory user or group account. So you can assign the role based administration for a group, Active Directory group. If you assign for a group, under that group what all users are there, for all same permission will be applied. If you assign for a user, particular user, so one or more security role. So what administrative user includes, that means if you make a SCCM administrator, what all things it is include. Clear? So you just create, if you want to test, I'll show you in the lab. If you just create one user and try to open the SCCM console with that user account, it says this user does not have a administrative rights to open the SCCM console. Clear? By default, any user will not be having rights to open the console. So you need to make that as a SCCM administrative user. Getting? So by using which account you have made and you have deployed the primary site, so only by default that account will be the full administrator of your SCCM. No other user account is a administrator. Clear? So what all it includes? Administrative user are a group, one or more security role, one or more security scopes, and collection if required. Right? Any doubts in this? So what do you mean by one or more security roles? You are saying no doubts. Now answer my question. What you have understand from the second point and the third point? Okay, first point you will say, okay, I'll use Active Directory user or group. So one or more security role means, what do you mean by security role? Role is nothing but what permission you are going to give for the user, what all he can able to do. Getting? So role means a security role is a group of permission that are required to perform administrative task. Getting? I'll just tell you here, role means you're giving a permission, what all rights he have in the SCCM console. Getting? Security scope means what all he can able to view in SCCM. Role means permission, what all he can able to perform, like creating application, deploying operating system, deploying the updates. These are permissions. Getting? So security scope means what? What all he can able to view. Getting? So like if I use the default scope, there will be a default scope. He can able to view all the things in the SCCM console, like how many sites are there, how many distribution points are there, how many applications, what other all other users have created, all applications he can able to view. No, I don't want to show him all. I want to show him only what he manages. No. Okay. What roles you have, only that he can perform. Clear? So you can show whatever you want by using security scopes. Collection means, so here in SCCM collection is nothing but it contains your user collection will be there, device collection will be there. It is similar to your organizational unit in your Active Directory. Like in SCCM, you will make different collections. Whatever you perform, it may be you want to collect the inventory, or you want to deploy application, you want to deploy updates, you will be deploying to the collection. Like how when your group policy will be linked to your OU, same way in SCCM, if you want to deploy anything, you will be deployed to a collection. So like service desk team, I'll create one collection. System administrator, one collection. All Windows 7 machines, one collection. Getting? So whenever I want to push the updates, I'll use all Windows 7 machines collection. So that I want to push updates to all my Windows 7 machines. Getting? So once we discover, we'll organize. So in the administering part, we'll clearly understand about the collections. Clear? So here just remember, collections means it's like a group, set of users, set of computers assigned to it. Clear? No, I'll explain. So next, first we'll discuss what is security role clearly. So a security role is a group of permissions that are required to perform administrative task. As I have told you, what all permissions you can able to show. Now security scope and collection, not security roles. So we have something called as security scopes and collection, that are not the security roles, and control which objects user can administer. What exactly your security scopes and collection does? It will control which objects user can administrator. We won't be using security scope or collections for assigning the permissions. For giving roles, giving rights, giving permissions, we'll be using a security role. Remember, don't get confused between security role and scope. Scope is only what objects you want to display in the SCCM console. Clear? Now, by default, there are 15 built-in security roles. Clear? So like how in your AD you will be having default groups. Getting? So like domain admins group, domain users group, network configuration, power users, right? So what you will do, where whatever permissions you require, you will add that user to that group. Same way here also in SCCM we have 15 built-in security roles. Clear? So you can define custom roles to match special administrative requirements. So first I'll show you what are the 15 built-in roles. See, these are the 15 built-in roles. Like application administrator means, so whenever you want to make an application admin, this is the default role you can use. If you want to make him a read-only analyst, you can use read-only analyst role. If you want to make that as a operating system deployment manager, see, you have operating system deployment manager. Whatever users are there, you can assign these roles. But you cannot change any permissions to this built-in roles. Like consider I am going to use, I am going to make as a application administrator. Getting? So like there will be two teams, right? One will be senior application administrator, other guys will be working as a junior. I don't want to give for juniors to create application. Let them deploy it. I don't want to give them permissions for creating the application. So in that case, can you modify here? You cannot do the changes for the built-in role. Getting? So in that case, what you will be doing, you can define the custom roles. You will create your custom role. Custom role means you won't be having any option here to new. You need to right click and copy that role. That becomes a new. Right click on the application administrator and go for copy. That becomes a custom. You change whatever permissions you want. You don't want to give him create permissions. Creating the application, you don't want to give him modify application. Uncheck that all permissions. Then save as custom application administrator, whatever name you want. That role you can assign. Clear? You can create your custom role or you can use your built-in role. Add other permissions also. Like you can add operating system. He can able to deploy, or he can able to deploy even Windows updates. Whatever you want in custom, you can select. All you can assign whatever categories you want. Clear? So this is nothing but your built-in roles. So now next, what do you mean by security scope? So a security scope is a name set of secureable objects that helps limit access of administrative users to specific instances of objects such as applications. So does not provide permissions. Administrators obtain permissions to objects from associate security role. Getting? So generally we use security scopes to what objects you want to show to the particular administrator. What if you go to sites? I may have 10 primary sites. I don't want to show him 10 primary sites. I will show him only one primary site which his clients are assigned to it. Clear? So I don't want to show all the distribution points. Suppose as an application administrator, he'll be having rights for distribution points. He can go and do the changes for other distribution points also, no? Why I should give him rights? So I will show the distribution point which he manages, which his clients are assigned. Clear? So that is nothing but your security scope. So there are two built-in security scopes. One is all and default. So if you are using all, grant access to all secureable objects. If you are using default, default is linked what all objects are assigned to these scopes by default. By default, which all objects have linked, it will show all. So here what we have to do, we have to create our own scope for the particular team, like application admins, operating system deployments. So we'll be creating our own scope and we are going to link that security scopes to the objects what you want to display. Getting? What objects you link, only that can be viewed. Getting? So you need to use the custom scope. If you use the default, he have all the rights to view. So we need to create a custom scope. Then we need to assign that scopes to the objects, particular objects what you want to display. Clear? So they have shown the example like desktop application scope and server application scope. So desktop application scope 1 I have made. I have linked that for app 1, app 2, app 3. Server application scope I have linked app 4 and app 5. Whichever for whom I will assign server application scopes, they can able to only view app 4 and app 5. So if desktop application scopes, whichever for user I have assigned, he can able to view app 1, app 2 and app 3. Clear? Now next is your collections. What do you mean by collection? Specifies the user or computer resources that an administrator can view or manage. It contains users or devices but not a mix of both. Remember, in one collection user as well as devices will not be available. So either you can make a user collection or device collection. So when we use user collection, if you want to deploy some application to a user, getting, so whenever user logs in, that application will be available. If suppose computer 1 I have deployed the application for a device collection, so whichever user logs in computer 1, that application will be there. If I have deployed the application to a user collection, suppose in that collection user 1 is there, so only for that user. If some other user comes and log in, that application will not be available. Getting? So remember, collections does not provide permissions. Okay, administrator obtain permissions to manage objects from the associated security role. Don't get confused with collections also. Collections is just to store your users and devices and to manage your resources. You are specifying different teams by using collections based on your infrastructure, service desk teams, system administrator, network engineers, network support. Getting? So all Windows 7 machines, all server machines, all Windows 8 machines, like that you can create a collection based on your requirement. You are adding the computers. Clear? So here also by default we have two built-in read only root collection. One is by name all system and one more is all users and users group. If you go for all system, in your infrastructure how many clients are there, all will be displayed. Clear? It will show all the users which are there. Good. Clear? User? User groups means your groups, Active Directory, whichever groups are there. So next, how you are going to plan your role based administration. When you define security for a user, you must specify one or more security role. Suppose if you want to make a administrator, SCCM administrator user, you need all these things. Getting? So first step what you will do, you will take the user from the Active Directory. Getting? Take example user 1. Then for that user, what is the first step? You will be assigning a role. Must specify one or more security role. You will assign a role. He is a application administrator. Once you have assigned the role, the next step is you need to assign a scope. If you go with default, he can able to see all. If you created a custom scope and you have assigned, so only he can able to view what you are showing. Clear? So after assigning a scope, you are assigning a collection. Which collection he is managing? Service desk team. So I'll specify only service desk collection. Clear? So then it becomes your administrative user. So if the user 1 logs in and try to open the SCCM console, he have rights to create application, delete application, and what scopes you have showing, only he can able to view that, and which collection you have assigned, only he can able to view that collection and manage that collection. No. User or device collection. You are a SCCM admin, which team you are managing, that collection I'll assign. You are managing service desk team. So why I should show all other collections? So I'll assign you only service desk team. Clear? So this is how you will configure your role base. Scope you will be assigning to a administrative user. Huh. You can specify device collection or user collection. If you only assign user collection, he cannot able to deploy application to any device collection because he is managing only user collection based on that. Clear? See, you have here one discussion question. So you are the administrator for a datum corporation and must plan administrative permission for application administrator based in London and Toronto. So London application administrator will be able to configure applications used in London and Toronto. So deploy applications to desktop computers and user based in London and Toronto. So Toronto application administrators will be able to deploy applications to desktop computers and users based in Toronto. You need to plan security roles, security scope and collection, and you can assume that corresponding security groups exist in ADDS. So what you will do, I'll create one administrative user. For him, I'll give him permission to manage the desktop computers of London as well as Toronto. I'll make him an application administrator. So, but I'll assign him the collections of London as well as Toronto. So, I'll make another administrator. Okay. So, who for him will assign the collection of only Toronto. Clear? We'll create a user. We'll assign application administrator rights, role, scope, what all he can able to view, then London and Toronto. So we'll assign the collection London as well as Toronto. Getting? So for Toronto application, we'll create again one more user, but for him I'll give only permissions for Toronto collection. Clear? Like this, you'll be making the SCCM administrators in your infrastructure. Clear? So now I'll see the lab of configuring role-based administration. Clear? So I'll just log into my primary site. So I have, see, now I have logged in as which account? Administrator. If you want to confirm, just go to command prompt and just type who am I. So it will show you the user which you have logged in. So I have logged in as India slash administrator, that is the domain administrator account. So as a domain administrator account, if I am trying to open the SCCM console, so I can able to open, right? Okay. Now, see, before going for configuring role-based administration, I'll go to my DC domain controller. This is my domain controller. So I'll try to create some users. So we'll go to tools, Active Directory users and computers just for testing. So we'll create a user by name Rafi, logon name also. Okay. So I'll create some more users by name Hari. Clear? Okay. Name Rajesh. Okay. So we have some users in our Active Directory database like Hari, Rafi, Rajesh, Riya, right? Okay. Now, if I try to log in as Rafi user or Rajesh user, so you no need to sign out again, sign in as Rafi user and all. Getting? So what you can do is just go to start. So right click on the configuration manager. See, you'll be getting run as different user. Getting? Run as different user. So I'll give the username Rafi. It's already showing India. Server @123 is a password. See, if I try to log in as Rafi user, so what it says, the configuration manager cannot connect to the site torcomfo.india.com. So don't see the first thing. Cannot connect means you may say it is not connecting, maybe some issue with database. Read the complete message. So the user account running the configuration manager console has insufficient permission to read information from the configuration manager site database. Clear? Okay. So we are trying to log in as now a user from the Active Directory, but he doesn't have any permissions. Clear? Now, so let me try with other users also. So I'll try to log in with Rajesh. Same thing, right? Okay. Now, so as a full administrator, see where I'll be getting roles. If you go to administrations, here security, and you can able to see here security roles. These are your 15 built-in roles. Okay. So remember the path: administration, under security, security role. Clear? So you can able to see here we have default 15 roles. These are the built-in roles. Clear? Now, if I click on administrative user, right now how many administrator users we have? Only one, that is administrator, India/administrator. What role has been assigned to him? Full administrator. Now, when I click on security scopes, you can able to see two scopes as I told you by default built in the theory class. Like we have all and default, right? So next, all means full, a built-in security scopes that contains all the secureable objects. All means any, all the objects you can able to view. Default means where the default is linked by default, only that specific objects you can able to view. Now, so consider I am going to make now Rafi as a administrator user for application administrator. I am going to make Rafi as a application administrator, Rajesh as a operating system deployment manager, getting, then Hari as a Windows update, then Ria as read only analyst. Clear? So for that we need first scopes, right? I don't want to show Rajesh all the objects. See, as an administrator, if I go to administration sites, I can able to see all the sites. If I go to my distribution points, I can able to see what all distribution points are there in my infrastructure. If I go to my software library applications, as an administrator, I can able to see what all packages are there, what all applications are there. Getting? So I don't want to show him all. So what we'll do first is we'll create a custom scope. We'll create a custom scope, then we'll link it to the objects whichever you want to display. So yeah, if you want 4 different permissions, yeah, you can create 4 scopes. So I'll go for, so click on security scopes, on the ribbon create security scopes. So on the ribbon you will get an option create security scope. See, I've just give the security scope name. So this is specially I am making for service desk team. I'll name it as service desk. Done. I'll create another scope. I'll make this as system administrator. Clear? So I have 2 scopes. Clear? Now, so we have created a security scopes. The next step is we need to link this scopes to the secureable objects, right? Now if I go to my, suppose consider sites. So suppose consider for Rajesh user I want to show him only Florida secondary site. I don't want to show all the sites. Imagine we have 10 or 15. So we are just displaying him Florida site. So you can see on the ribbon set security scope you are getting. Wherever you get set security scopes, that objects you are going to show him. Means you need to configure this, click this and select. See, I want to show for service desk. Done. Now primary site I want to show to system administrator. Getting? Primary scope I want to show to system administrator. Done. Same way I'll go to DPs. So com4.india.com DP I'll show to service desk. But for com5.india.com DP I'll show to system administrators. Clear? So then I'll go to software library, under packages for Rajesh so I'll show him only one package. Clear? So for testing we have done some more. So whichever you want to assign, you can go set security scope and configure it. I have shown you 2 or 3 settings. Done. So now we have security scope, like custom security scopes we have. Done. Now security roles, these are the built-in, like as I have shown you. See, can I able to do changes for this? See, properties, I can able to only see what permission. See, read, modify, delete, create, run for application. Can I able to modify this? No, as I told you even in the theory class that we can't able to modify the built-in roles. If suppose you need a custom role, if you need a custom role, right click on the application role, application administrator role, go for copy. Clear? So I'll name this as application and update manager. Clear? So by default application administrator permissions are there. So still see, I don't want to give him to create. No, I don't want to give him to create application. I don't want delete, modify. So see, now you are getting the options for changing the permission. Same way, so if you want to give, see, it shows all the things. Getting, when you copy, all other permissions will be displayed. If suppose you want to give him, we are making application and update manager. So consider read only. We are going to make him only read only. So what we'll do? Software update group creating? No. Delete? No. Modify? No. So read? Yes, he can read. Can he set the security scopes? No. Same way, software update packages only read. Same way, software updates read. Run report? Yes, we'll give permissions to run the report. Done? Clear? So we made now custom role. So for any user, if I assign this role, he have rights only for read. Yeah, I'll show you practically. Clear? Now you have learned how to create a custom role. Understood, right? So now we'll make a administrative user. Clear? So go to administrative user, on the ribbon, add user or group. So browse, select the user. Suppose Rafi. So for Rafi user, I'll add, consider application and update manager read only. I'm making him the custom role what I have created. Done. Now see, by default you can see default scope is selected, all the default collections are selected. If you just give OK, he can able to view all the things, right? So remove the default collections and scopes and you add the security scopes what we created. Suppose I will assign him to system administrator scope. Now what collections he can able to manage? See, I have multiple collections. I want to show him only all users. Imagine you have other collections like Windows service desk, system administrator, network engineers. We'll discuss this in the next module. We have a separate chapter for creating collections and all. Here just use the default. Clear? So I have just shown him all users, user collection. Same way, device collection, I'll just show him all systems. Clear? and just give OK. See now India slash Rafi becomes the administrative user, SCCM administrative user, right? Now again I'll make another administrative user, that is Rajesh. So for the Rajesh, I'm going to add him. I'll make him application administrator. Also, I'll add him software update manager. I want to show him, okay, he have all the rights. Rafi have only read only rights. Done. So remove all the default collections what you want to show. Add your scope. Like I'll show him service desk. So Rajesh created. Now again I'll make another administrative user. Consider this user, suppose Ria. So what roles I'll give? I'll give read only analyst. She have rights to read all the things, and I'll go with the default scope because I want to show you she can able to view all. I'll go with the default scope for this user, right? Now, so we have created 3 administrative users. Yeah, let's start for testing. So we'll go to run as different user, Rafi. So I have logged in as, before you have seen the error we were getting before making a administrative user, right? Now he can able to open. Yes. So what all permissions we gave for him? We made application and update manager, read only manager, right? Now see, as an administrator, as a full administrator, if I click on asset, see what all other options I'm getting: asset, software metering, compliance and protection. As a user, only users, devices, user collection, device collection. See others he is not getting, right? Now if you go to software library, see there is no operating system deployment option because I have not made him a OSD admin. So even in applications, see he can able to only read. For applications he can able to read. See if I right click, only folder I am getting. Is there any create option? Create application is there? No. So let me check by logging to Rajesh whether Rajesh is having. See when I log in as Rajesh, so if I go to software library, applications, create applications, because for Rafi I gave only read. So Rajesh was having create, delete, modify, right? Okay. So for Rajesh, I have shown only one package. Have you remember security scope? So when he go for administration, even sites, what sites we have shown him? See, we had many sites, but for him it's showing only one site. Why I should show my infrastructure to all my employees, right? So when he clicks on DPs, come for DP. So if I log in as Rafi, see for Rafi, com5 DP, and which site I have shown? Toronto site. Clear? Now I'll log in as, so we made this user as a what? Administrator as read only analyst. So she should have all the rights to view the objects but not to create or modify. Getting? See, she can able to see all. She is getting asset intelligence, software metering, compliance setting, endpoint protection, right? So even if she go to site configuration sites, all sites she can able to view, all distribution points she can able to view, right? So software application management, applications, but no right click option at all. Getting? No create option. She cannot create, only she can able to view. Clear? So this is what we called as role based administrator. If you join to any company as a SCCM admin, okay, so if they hired you as a application administrator, only you will be getting based on your job profile what all options you have. And don't think that in SCCM only these options are there in the console. If suppose you have not done the course, then you'll think in SCCM only this is there, right? I've seen many students in the console only this is only there, but you will not be knowing that other things are there. They'll not tell also, yeah, right? Okay. So this is the lab for your role based administration. Any doubts you can, if any questions you can ask.